Welcome back, fellow travelers. I want to talk to you today about the methodology as to why certain aircrafts will wait to pick up passengers and others will just take off without waiting. Being on both sides of the coin can certainly be frustrating, especially if you missed a flight because another flight, the one that you were just on, waited to pick up people. It might seem like there's no rhyme or reason, but certainly there are factors, and we'll go into it right now. A lot of it has to do, surprise, surprise, about money. So if an airline is going to be waiting on a dozen or 24 people to make a connecting flight, that will save them money than having to put these people up in hotels and pay for their meals until the next flight is available the next day. So you'll see an instance where there's 24 people that are missing the flight, well, they'll wait to get those 24 people on. Whereas if there's only 2 people, they're not going to hold up several hundred people. Now, there are instances where they will hold up because if that person happens to be a pilot that is going out and working on the next flight, they might need that guy, so they'll wait. Other things are if they're a certain VIP or certain status, sometimes they will make that exception. Very rarely, though. Very rarely. I know in our airport operations, we never did that for one single VIP. There had to be a really good reason. A lot of the times also an airline won't wait because their crew might go illegal. You might be like, ooh, illegal. What is that? Illegal is when there are crew members that have been working for X amount of hours and they're reaching the limits on the maximum allowed hours worked. This is because they want their crew that's in the air to be well rested, so they have these maximum time allotments that they can work. And if they go over that because they're waiting for people to board the aircraft and they're late, they'll have to take off, because the alternative is to cancel the flight, rebook everybody else, and it becomes a real gong show at that point. So people who will cause a crew to go illegal, sorry, you got to miss your flight, because that's going to be a lot of extra cash for the airline to dole out just because we were waiting for a few other people. I've also seen certain instances where it was just because of the structure of the aircraft. If it needed to go somewhere else, if it was needed on an onwards flight, so if they are going from, let's say, Chicago to Denver, but from Denver to San Francisco was a different flight, but they needed that same aircraft to go, and the load on the aircraft was large. They needed to make sure that that aircraft would have enough time at Denver to be deplaned, groomed, and then take off again. So tight turnaround times are a real big thing for airlines. It's how they maximize their value. Airlines, generally speaking, do not have a lot of aircraft just lying around, so the aircrafts get used to their maximum potential, and that means most of the time they spend the most amount of the time in service as much as possible, flying from one airport to another. If it's delayed in one city, it could cause a ripple effect down the line. Early in the day, you don't want that. When the operation needs to get going, you don't want to start the day off on a wrong foot. Conversely, if it's near the end of the day and the aircraft's going to be overnight, you might see a situation where they will wait for the passengers. The crew's not going to go illegal. We have 10, 15 passengers we don't necessarily want to pay hotel vouchers for. If we can shave another 10 minutes off the departure, we might do it. And there is the biggest factor is how long are these people going to be? If it's going to be 5 minutes, okay. If it's going to be 30 minutes, it's going to be hard to stretch that extra 30 minutes, because that airline might also have to pay then other people down the line to miss because they missed other connecting flights. So it gets really dicey. The truth of the matter is, it's never an easy decision. It is unfortunate that people have to miss connecting flights. It is a stressful situation for not only the passengers, but the people trying to find hotel rooms and meal vouchers to give the compensation for these people because they missed their flight due to airport operations. It just goes to show how intertwined airport operations really are. Now, I certainly didn't touch on every single possibility as to why some airlines or airplanes wait where others don't. It could be a myriad of factors. Those are the biggest ones. Those are, the key essential ones. Obviously, as I mentioned, dollar value. How much is this going to cost the airline because one person missed their flight or a dozen people missed their flight is a very real factor. Now, this is completely different to somebody just checking in late. There is almost a zero tolerance policy. If somebody arrived to the check-in counter late, they're out of luck. It's not the airline's fault, so they won't be on the hook for that. So they won't make the extra take the extra risk to check that person in and perhaps maybe not even have him get to the aircraft in time, let alone if he checked in bags. Just the conveyor belt takes way too long in some airports to get from that drop-off point to somebody picking it up to hauling it to the aircraft. out of schedule and then throwing it onto the little mat that they bring up to the aircraft. So that's it. If you have any situations where you were left behind or you were waiting for people, let me know how that planned out. Did you get irritated or were you happy that they waited? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. I hope that helped dispel a bit about why certain airlines and certain aircraft wait whereas others don't. Again, there are a lot of different possibilities, but that's kind of like the tip of the iceberg, something to chew on and understand a bit as to why this happens. In the meantime, though, if you'd like to check out some of my other videos, you can do that right here. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that right there. It helps the channel out, but it also lets you know when we upload new content, which is, sometimes several times per week. Thanks for making me a part of your day, and until next time, safe travels.